This young man, fueled by an insatiable need to avenge his brother's death, deliberately commits a crime just to get himself thrown into a juvenile detention center. Why? Because the guys responsible for his brother's murder are hiding out inside. These punks may have powerful connections pulling the strings, but this guy has something even stronger: an unrelenting thirst for revenge. He's willing to go to any lengths, cross any line, just to take down those thugs. But the question is, are those guys really the ones responsible, or are they just pawns in a much bigger game? Let's rewind a bit. Just the night before, Woo was happily waiting for his brother to come home so they could celebrate Christmas together. The next day, he's found dead. His body is a mess of cuts and bruises. To make matters worse, his body was found in a water tank on the building's roof. Determined to find out what happened, the police check the surveillance cameras. They identify 3 young delinquents who are the guys hiding out. But these punks have a powerful backer: their rich daddy. He uses his money to bribe the right people, and the case gets closed as an accidental drowning. The older brother goes ballistic. He lashes out at everyone, but his brother's caretaker and grandmother shoot back, saying it's his fault for not caring about his family, for always neglecting his mentally challenged brother and his memory-challenged grandmother. He never had the patience to listen to his brother finish a single sentence. Those words hit him like a punch to the gut. He goes silent, knowing they're right, but the hammer keeps dropping. His grandmother, overwhelmed by grief, chooses to leave this world, leaving him all alone. That's when he completely descends into hatred. When he hears that the 3 thugs have voluntarily entered the juvenile detention center for protection, he engineers a situation to get himself arrested and thrown in there with them. His thirst for vengeance consumes him. Once inside the detention center, he's shocked to find that one of the teachers knows him and knows why he's there. Turns out, Mr. Cho is a charitable man who helps underprivileged families. He's visited their home several times and was the only person who shed a tear at the funeral. The teacher tries to talk Woo out of seeking revenge, urging him to let go of the hatred and move on with his life. But at this point, Woo is dead set on his path. No one can change his mind. With no other choice, the teacher leads him to the classroom. But before he can even settle in, Woo loses his temper. He can't contain his rage any longer. He lunges at the thugs. He grabs a desk, ready to use it to send the rich kid to join his brother in the afterlife. But the other inmates are all the rich kid's lackeys, and they block Woo's path. The warden shows up to restore order and forces anyone causing trouble to kneel outside the classroom. Guard Han approaches, and the other boys act like dogs, subserviently bowing their heads. Woo doesn't feel he has any reason to do that, so he stands there, refusing to kneel. So the warden slugs him right in the face. Thankfully, the teacher intervenes and pleads for mercy, and the guard reluctantly backs down, saving Woo's life. However, Woo gets thrown into solitary confinement, while the other thugs, with their connections, go scot-free. Alone in the darkness, Woo feels the pain of his brother's death more acutely than ever. It only strengthens his resolve to exact revenge. During a visit to the infirmary, he secretly stashes a small knife in his bandages. As luck would have it, he overhears the thugs gleefully recounting the details of what they did to his brother before he died. Woo snaps. He kicks down the bathroom door and threatens one of the thugs, demanding to know why they did what they did to his brother. The student standing nearby senses that something's wrong and rushes to get Mr. Cho. The thug desperately cries out for help, but refuses to admit what he and his friends did. Eventually, Woo can't take it anymore and starts beating the guy's face in. He's about to deliver the final blow when the teacher arrives and stops him, not wanting Woo to become like them. This incident plants a seed of fear in the rich kid's mind. That night, while Woo is sleeping, the rich kid and his gang viciously beat him with wooden sticks. Woo tries to shield his head. In a hazy daze, he sees the keychain hanging from the rich kid's hand, which means Guard Han gave them the go-ahead. After seeing Woo lying motionless, the rich kid is satisfied and leaves. But the fire of revenge burning within Woo can't be extinguished so easily. Despite his battered body, he manages to get back on his feet and attacks the rich kid. The guard, who agreed to all this, underestimated Woo's will, and now he's going to pay the price. The guard then uses the excuse that Woo is causing trouble and tries to have him transferred to another facility. But Mr. Cho intervenes, promising to counsel the student. After receiving so much help from the teacher, Woo gradually lets down his guard and opens up to him. The rich kid, now aware of how dangerous Woo is, doesn't dare to mess with him directly. So he redirects his anger onto their classmate, Sun Huan, because he secretly gave Tu-Wu painkillers. The rich kid constantly beats Sun Huan for no reason, spits in his spoon and mixes it into his food, and even strips him naked in front of everyone. One day, Mr. Cho asks Tu-Wu to get something from the storage room. Hearing noises coming from the other side of the wall, Tu-Wu climbs up to the window and peeks inside. He sees guard Han with Sun Huan. Sun Huan is carrying 2 bags of drugs. It turns out that the room next door is where the guard satisfies his depraved urges, and the 2 bags of drugs are a signal between him and the rich kid. If anyone disobeys, they'll be traded to the rich kid in exchange for cigarettes. The next morning, Tu-Wu seeks out Sun Huan. He tells him to live righteously and stop following those thugs. But Sun Huan gets angry and blames Tu-Wu for what happened. He says that Wulwu died because Tu-Wu missed his promise on the day of Wulwu's death. It is revealed that Sun Huan used to be friends with Wulwu. That day, when Wulwu couldn't get in contact with Tu-Wu, Sun Huan wanted to send a message to Tu-Wu for his friend, but his little brother immediately stopped him. Though only as smart as an elementary school student, he knew he was a burden to his brother. He even secretly worked part-time at a supermarket to help support himself. Sun Huan wanted to wait together, but due to an urgent matter, he had to leave his friend behind. He never imagined that things would turn out this way. As for Tu-Wu, he worked as a hired fighter to earn money, but it still wasn't enough to cover the expenses. On that day, the landlord called and demanded the rent, so he turned off his phone, forgetting his promise to his brother. When he turned his phone back on, he only heard his brother's screams. He ran out to find him, but it was already too late. The next morning, Sun Huan seeks out the main character and tells him that he overheard the rich kid admitting to harming his little brother. Hearing that further solidifies Tu-Wu's resolve for revenge. On that same day, someone even more dangerous arrives at the Juvenile detention center. The boss whom he used to work with in the fighting ring. There was one time when Tu-Wu got his salary docked, and the boss went out of his way to make up for it with his own money. Tu-Wu thought he'd finally found an ally, but it turns out the boss was hired to take out Tu-Wu. The teacher, realizing the danger, tries to find a reason to transfer the boss to another detention center, but he refuses. Ever since his grandmother and brother passed away, he says he has no will to live. The rich kid, pulling strings with his connections, learns that he's going to be released in 3 days. Knowing this, Tu-Wu asks Mr. Cho for help. The teacher still advises him to let go of his hatred and continue living, but Tu-Wu's eyes remain fixed on revenge, his plan to reunite with his family. Finally, Mr. Cho relents and gives him the keys to the storage room. The first person he wants to take care of is the guard. At this moment, the guard is using Sun Huan as an object to satisfy his depraved desires. As Tu-Wu hears those cries of pain, it reminds him of his brother. He used to have those same outbursts, but Tu-Wu never cared. He found it annoying. Now everything is coming together. It turns out that his brother had also gone through a similar ordeal. After using a taser to knock out the guard, he repeatedly kicks him in the groin, unleashing his rage. Then, as he hears Sun Huan confirm what happened to Wulwu, Tu-Wu initially blames him for why Wulwu didn't tell him what was happening. But Tu-Wu realizes his indifference and negligence towards his brother. On top of that, the brother was so considerate. Even though Sun Huan wanted to tell Tu-Wu about what was going on, he refused to do so because he feared he would burden him. Tu-Wu breaks down and cries uncontrollably like a child, full of regret for the things that happened to his brother. The next day, he purposefully switches his counseling session with Sun Huan, wanting him to stay by the teacher's side. As for Tu-Wu, he goes to the bathroom. That's where it all ends. Sun Huan knows this could be their last goodbye, but he doesn't dare to go and help. After successfully entering and seeing that all the guards are gone, he rushes in, wanting to take down the thugs with him. But there are too many henchmen, and Tu-Wu is alone, so he is quickly overwhelmed. The rich kid watches everything, completely unconcerned. He sees it as a form of entertainment. The main character gets fueled by his desire to get revenge as he charges up, wanting to take out the ringleader, but the boss intercepts him and beats him relentlessly. In the nick of time, he seizes an opportunity to kick the boss in the crotch, causing him to stumble. Then he quickly moves towards the rich kid. However, the boss manages to get back into the fight in time. He wraps the shower hose around Tu-Wu's neck. Taking advantage of the situation, the rich kid grabs a shard of glass to attack him. Tu-Wu thinks quickly and bites the boss's ear, freeing himself. Mustering the last of his strength, he grabs the shard of glass, wanting to send the rich kid to meet his ancestors. This time, the rich kid is truly scared. He begs for mercy, but to the end, he never admits to what he's done, saying he only beat his brother but didn't strike the final blow. Tu-woo, driven solely by the desire to end this, ignores his words. Just then, Mr. Cho enters. The ringleader, thinking he's been given a lifeline, is relieved, but then the teacher bends down and wrenches open the water pipe. He calmly and methodically takes down the henchman, showing a cold and calculated precision. The rich kid realizes that his plan has failed and attempts to escape, but the teacher blocks his path, delivering a swift and brutal end. Tu-woo understands why his teacher had to do what he did for him. Afterwards, a trial is held and Mr. Cho must answer to the court. But having done so much good in his life, the lawyer successfully argues to reduce his sentence to 4 years in prison. Mr. Cho breaks down in tears as he accepts his fate. Just then, son Huan rushes in and throws a piece of paper in the teacher's face, spitting on him. On the paper is a drawing that Woo loved most. This drawing was found in his office. It turns out that he was the one who did those horrible things to Woo, that teacher who often wore the Santa Claus costume, using the guise of helping the needy to defile him. All the times he advised Tu-woo to let go of his hatred, he was really asking Tu-woo to let him off the hook, not the thugs. He forced him to sing Christmas songs loudly to drown out the dirty sounds. The grandmother with memory loss, however, is unaware of everything. Before Christmas Eve, Woo had wanted to talk to his brother about Santa Claus, but Tu-woo never paid him any attention, thinking he just wanted to see Santa. So he said that tomorrow, his grandmother would be home with him, waiting for Santa. Woo had tried to express everything, but his brother was too dismissive, making it even harder for the little brother to speak up. Afterwards, Tu-woo visits the teacher. He doesn't hide anything, directly saying that he liked Woo. He's saving Tu-woo because he feels guilty about what happened to Woo. Hearing those words, Tu-woo almost loses his mind. He can only stare at the real monster right in front of him, but he is powerless to exact his revenge. It turns out that on that Christmas Eve, while waiting for his brother, Woo went to work a part-time shift at a supermarket. 3 thugs showed up and wrecked the supermarket. Woo feared that he would have to pay the damages, inconveniencing his brother, and he got nervous. At that moment, the teacher shows up and offers to take Woo to patch up his wounds, but in reality, he takes him to the roof and continues to sexually assault him. But this time it was too rough, and unfortunately accidentally killed Woo. Fearing the consequences, he hid his body in the water tank. When Tu-woo went to prison, he realized he was mistaking the rich kid for the one who did it, so he went along with it, successfully passing all the blame onto the thugs. He thinks he's in the clear, believing he's a hero, but suddenly someone comes in and asks if he knew the rich kid. This is actually a hitman, hired by the rich kid's father to take out the teacher. In the end, karma may come late, but it never misses anyone. Evil will always have to pay the price. After being released from prison, Tu-woo returns to his old home. The kind landlord has kept everything as it was. Those memories are what he treasures most. The movie ends here. Thank you for watching. If you liked it, please give me a like and subscribe.